Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's B Plus. Thank you so much for checking out this video. As you can see, I have a guest here. I'm going to introduce him in a second. But yeah, I'm just excited over this Christmas break to be just interacting with a lot of the other Christian creatives that are in this space. I'm primarily on Twitter. So, but before we just hop into the talk, I do want to introduce Lank. Now, I know him how I got introduced to him was by him making blends and posting them on Twitter. So Lank, go ahead and introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just kind of have a free-flowing conversation.
Absione. I go by Lank, on my Twitter handle, and every other handle is Big Lank 360 because I am from Washington State, representing Lacey, the 360 stand up. Man, I'm just an average Joe that loves the Lord. And as my brother said, sometimes I have fun and I make blends of all kinds. And I also do music, producer, artist, you name it. I'm a music connoisseur. I'm about my music. And also one of my guilty pleasures are watching low budget films. And
yes.
Yes. And yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here, man. But yeah, B Plus, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing all right. Like I said, man, it's the Christmas season, so it's a lot of food, it's a lot of fellowship, just hanging out with friends, and really just how we just kind of how we formed our relationship was just through social media. So I'm taking this opportunity around this Christmas season to take some of this time off and just talking to as many of my Christian hip hop friends that I've met over the last, I think 2 or 3 years since I've been on Twitter and even in this social media space. So that's how I'm doing. And like I said, I think the first blend I saw, I saw a number of blends, but the first blend that really kind of took off, like I said, I don't know how it took off on other platforms, because I'm not on other platforms, but the one you did, the Kirk Franklin blend you did with, what was it with? Was it with like No Limit?
Oh, Juvenile.
Juvenile.
You can't take my joy, devil. Makes me clap. Makes me clap my hands. Makes me wanna dance. Oh, you better put them hands.
Man, that one was crazy. That one was crazy. But I think my favorite one that you did was the one of The Truth. You blended him with Lupe.
Been gone, working through fact and fiction. Focused, I pulled away just to sharpen up my convictions. Scratch the Grammys and Stellas off of my wish list. Can honestly take it back, cause I'm back in the trenches. I got
Lupe, and that's my favorite. I was mad at you for like weeks because it was only like a minute long, and I was just kind of like, it was just getting to the good spot. And you were just kind of like, I'm done. And I'm like, come on, Wayne, come on, man. So yeah, so that's kind of how I caught wind of you.
Man, one thing that does come to mind is when you hit me on the side about that program, that blending program. Yeah, you were like, hey man, check out this program. And I'm like, bro, this is a good look. So I checked it out. And I think we were discussing blends, and I think if we were to be transparent, we're gonna be as brothers.
I think I know where you're going.
I think we were talking, and hopefully this encourages somebody out there in the stratosphere, but we were talking about being, I think it's either self-aware or conscious about, there was a blend that you made or that you were making, and you were like, I'm not sure if I should put this out. And I'm like, bro, go for it. Like, do it. And I think the blend was John P. Key with Mobb Deep's record, wasn't it?
Shook Ones.
I
believe. And Shook Ones, and it was fire. It was Dylon.
Yep.
and look, it took off, didn't it?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it, because like you had been posting blends, I had been posting blends, and like it was part of my ritual. I keep saying ritual like it's like some deep spiritual thing. It was really not. This tradition, that's the better word. This tradition of like on Sundays. I mean, I'm in the gospel mood because I grew up in the house with Hezekiah Walker, The Commission, John P. Key, like that was
Right.
what I grew up on. But I love hip hop, so I was like this. I would take the songs and I would blend them, and I always recorded myself when I was practicing, just in case I did something that was slick. I'd be like, I know
Right.
what I did. So
Right.
I recorded that, and I had it for like 2 weeks, and it was just sitting on my computer. And I was just like, I think this is good. And I was just like, nah, it's not that good. And I was like, well, I kind of messed up right there. So I went back and forth. And then you posted, it might have been that Kirk Franklin blend. And I think I hit you up like, man, like, that's pretty dope, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then I think I said, like, I made some comment about like me making a blend, but I'm not sure if I want to put it out. And you hit me like, man, just put it out. Just put it out. Stop playing. So I put it out. And you're right. Like that mug, I was getting hits from all over the place about that mug. So,
it's
yeah,
fire.
man.
It was fire. And it's crazy because the thing I think about too with releasing Blendz, it connects those two worlds. So that
You're
was
right.
the main reason why I was like, bro, put it out, because at the end of the day, you're connecting two different worlds. And it explodes, and you have multiple people from different walks of life that I was low-key showing. I'm talking about cats that don't want to come near a church.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is hard. I'm like, exactly. Because I talk with people that's they raw and uncut.
Right,
So,
right.
But your blend, it was refreshing, and it was like, it was like pleasing to my ears. And that's why I was like, bro, this is fire. And then it started catching more fire.
Yeah,
And,
I appreciate that look, man. Cause like, or just the encouragement on the front end to like go ahead and give this a try. Cause like I said, I had it for like a couple of weeks, and kind of like my barometer when I really thought like, okay, this is actually kind of good, because my wife, I'm not sure what she was doing, but she was in the kitchen, maybe grabbing something to drink. And I'm literally sitting like at the kitchen table, like, oh, these songs might, and I kind of had it going a little bit, and I saw her head kind of moving, and I saw her kind of feeling a little bit. I'm just like, this must be kind of good, because she actually like kind of feeling it a little bit. So yeah, so that was mad encouraging. But it also kind of goes back to just like that. I think I tweeted this a few days ago. Like, I never really saw myself as a creative until like 2 or 3 years ago.
Got you.
So like for me, I just thought I was just like this weird dude who just liked Christian hip hop and would like make random blends. I kind of got into DJing because my church, when I was living in South Carolina, they had like these skate parties, and they had Christian music, and they would just press play up in the booth, and we would skate around. And I was just like, this is kind of trash. So next time we do this, I'd like kind of talk to the owner, like, hey, like, you mind if I just like bring some music? He was like, oh, just bring your laptop and just plug in. So I did that, brought my music, plugged it in, and but it was iTunes, so like the song just like cut off, and then the next song like came on. So it was like, it was choppy. So so I got a program that can at least blend songs together, and then it just kept on evolving. And so when it comes to DJing, like, some people are really good at cutting and scratching and all that type of stuff. I'm good at blends because like I said, that kind of rolled into me, like, end up working there. He started the gospel night there. So, and one thing about skating, they don't want you to mess up their groove. If they rolling at like 90 BPM, you just don't do some cutting and some scratching. They're like, what are you doing? Like, we're here to just roll, and you messing this up. So I'm really good at like blending stuff. So, but I never thought of that as being like a creative or anything. So I appreciate the encouragement on that. Just because I'm still not okay with, like, I hate getting behind the camera like this. I hate saying.
No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay, like, but I think on my side, it just kind of feels like small stupid stuff. Like, I don't like how I sound, because like when you talk, you don't really hear yourself how you sound to other people. So like, I hate how I talk. I mean, I hate how I talk sometimes. I'm missing a tooth, so I feel like I got like a little bit of a slur going, like all this different stuff. I always feel like if you pause a video at this point, you're gonna look crazy. And I'm just kind of like, well, if you pause a video on Michael B. Jordan, he gonna look crazy too. So it's like, so I had to kind of get over, and I still, to this day, like when I'm editing videos, I'm like, I'm thinking about editing this video right now. Like, man, like I'm not even making no sense right now. So it's wild, man.
Look, and let me interject on that. And it's good you brought it there, because even with me, I'm gonna give you a secret. I think I might have shared this with you, but we'll see. Me being an artist, I don't like my voice.
I don't understand that though. From my perspective, I don't understand that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you. So the thing is, it's similar to what you said, but it's in the music realm. So for me, I always be like, man, I sound too nasally, or I sound too this. I don't know. I wish I had a lower tone, this tone, but I'm gonna tell you something. It was one time literally when I was praying, and it's crazy how God told me in the midst of prayer, he was like, embrace your uniqueness. Like he told me, embrace your uniqueness, embrace how I wired you and who I made you to be. Embrace it. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. And it was loud and clear. And it's crazy because that hit me, because it's like, man, like I'm running away from how I sound and nasally this and that, but that's what makes me me, you know? Right. And it got to the point where I'm like, even me doing music or whatever, it's not about me anyways. You know, it's really about, not, like you say, it's not the cliche to this, but I mean this from my heart. It's really giving glory to God on whatever I do. So he's going to use my voice for his glory. So I'm like, you know what, God, it's not about me, regardless of how I feel. I'm going to let you do your thing in me, Lord, because at the end of the day, I'm going to embrace that. And I think it stemmed from the music and also to the video, because the same thing, bro. I'd be thinking the same thing, like, do I say the right words, or am I pronouncing it right? Am I saying, how many times am I saying, like, am I sounding like this? But at the end of the day, you know, that's what makes me me. And I'm I don't care. I'm just going to be who God created me to be. And I want to encourage anybody out there that may feel like that. Like, that's the reason why God created us uniquely, even with every artist, every person that wants to start a podcast. And you're like, man, and, you know, everybody's a rapper, which is true. Everybody be rapping. But everybody is not you.
Right.
It's
everybody
just
has
like
your perspective.
Right. And so I think it's just like, I think a meme that I saw one time where it was a bunch of different loaves of bread, and they all serve its own purpose for somebody. You know, it's just like an artist with their audience. It's like, to be transparent, my lane is very unique. You know, NCHH, quote unquote, there are people that show love and there's people that don't know what to do with me. But I'm going to embrace that anyhow, because God placed me in his positioning and where he needs me to be. So when it comes to my voice and everything that I do, I just do it. You know what I mean? And I know how it can be sometimes when you put something on Twitter and it's not getting the traction you thought it was going to get, or it's not at all. And then you take it back down. And you're like, oh, maybe that was trash. You know, that's what I've done that
before, man.
You know what I'm saying? I've done it plenty of times, but I'm gonna say this. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna release it, whether people hear it or not. You know, and even when I speak, you taking your time out to listen to Blendz or anything I do, I don't expect that. You talking with me right now, I didn't expect this. So I'm sitting to myself with my voice. I'm like, oh, I don't like my voice. I don't like my, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to run away from it. I'm going to embrace it. I'm not going to run away. This is how God created me to be.
I want to go back to something you said, because like, if you would follow somebody who follows you and sees like how silly you can be when it comes to like you said, like in your intro, like how you, like, one of your guilty pleasures is watching low budget like movies. Then you post those clips and they can be silly, hilarious, like the ones with the dudes laughing. Like I saw that when I was kind of preparing the chat with you. I saw that again and I was cracking up laughing, because like I have that thread of silliness in me. So like I connect with that. But some people just kind of look at that like that's just different. Like that's kind of wild. So you take that, and then, but it feels like you're just like, you're happy being yourself, and you're gonna post that type of stuff like regardless. And then it's like, then you post like short movies or short comedy clips. You had the one it had to go viral on Twitter. Which one was it? It was the one where like the sitcom joint.
Oh, it went viral on TikTok. Yeah, you talking
Yeah,
about
so
the one where I was eating the chips or eating the,
yeah.
That was, you know what's funny? That was actually I didn't plan for that to go viral. That actually went viral on TikTok. And I think what triggered my mind for that idea, because I'm gonna hit a few things real quick. The thing about that was, it's like, I'm an 80s baby, but I'm a 90s kid. So a lot of those sitcoms, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin, and Living Color, Living Single, you know, all these different shows, those are my jam, especially Martin. So Family Matters, you know. So the funny thing was, on TikTok, they had this thing where they had that music playing like the end of an episode before it goes into commercial. And I had a quick idea. I'm like, what? And I'm gonna be real with you. The tweets and all that stuff, those are like on the spot ideas. I'm like, let me just do this idea because this is just what I like to do. So I did that with the chip. I had my phone camera set up, did that, put it up on TikTok like it was nothing. Next thing you know, my phone kept I'm like, what the heck is up with my phone? And it was a lot of people sharing it, liking it, and I didn't expect that. When I do things, I don't expect to go viral. I just, it's just an expression of what I like. And so, and honestly, I'm gonna tell you something too, to tie in something what you were talking about with me posting low budget movie clips and everything. Like you say, all of that is my personality, from the serious stuff to the funny stuff. All of it is me. And so in that, when you do that, the funny thing is, for anybody that may think, oh, this may be too weird or this, no, do what you do, because in that you find your tribe.
Yeah.
So low key on TikTok, I found my tribe doing like 90s stuff and different things that I like, or even music from back then. And even with whether it's with that, or I do songs, or I'm praising God, it's multiple things.
Right.
And I think in that it creates like, yo, you have that audience, like, you know, that love 90s sitcom, also love the Lord too. And it's like you end up finding your tribe that way. And the crazy thing is, it's like, I just do stuff spontaneous. And even those them sitcom clips, right? Like a lot of those are just like me and my friends, my brothers in the Lord, sisters in the Lord. And we're similar. And we just freestyle and go off the cuff and make up a script. We don't plan. We just be like, okay, here's the idea. Let's feed off of each other and action. And we just do it up.
kind of like this interview.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So you feel me? So we're doing this in real time. So in that, I feel that when it's authentic and it's off the cuff, that's what hits the most, because people are going to feel it and they're going to see it. So for me, it's like, I don't mind, you know, posting up sitcoms, different things that have me laugh, but it did go viral on TikTok. I think it went over, I think it was like 300,000 views or something like that.
That's
randomly.
Wild. That's
Bro,
wild.
6 seconds of a clip. It was like 6 to 8 seconds. And I'm just posting it. I'm going to bed. My phone kept going off. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And then I saw a lot of people was like, oh, snap. And then later I started seeing other people do it. And I remember you tweeted me.
Yeah, because I saw it in a whole nother area, a whole nother section of Twitter. I was like, wait a minute.
He's like, Lank did that. Because I remember and you weren't the only one. There was 3 other people like, Lank did that. And I appreciate that too, because I'm going to tie this in culturally, right? Like that's the same thing with the you know, people that know, can I get to the yams? You know, the song, with the homie Devin Morrison. Yeah. And I can't pronounce the other guy's name. It starts with an M. That they did a song, I think it was a year and a half ago or 2 years ago or 3, where it was the original. And then Fetty Wap ended up, you know, I think talked with Devin and asked permission, and then he used it, and then people crediting Fetty Wap. But I'm like, bro, go to the Genesis. Yeah, like go to Devin, like he's the one that. But that's the thing I appreciate with any brother. We're like, wait a minute, B Plus did that, or wait a minute, hey, that's cool, but wait, Lank did this. And I'm glad that cats will call things out, and it's not even to calling things out, but it's just to give credit where it's due. Yeah, and I agree. I have to give credit where it's due, because the sitcom idea didn't start with me. it started with someone that was on TikTok, and I saw the ending before it goes to commercial, and I'm like, let me do like my own interpretation, like a scene, you know what I mean? Somebody getting caught eating that night when they shouldn't. And turn that into that, and then have that music behind it with the audience. And I think, I don't know, that's just a part of me. But yeah, bro, I think me and you and a few others have a connection where it's more like sense of humor and low budget movies. And I think for me, it's like, do you think that sometimes as a believer, do you feel for some people, do they wrestle with posting certain things like that because they don't want to get looked at as corny or weird or, bro, what the heck? Or what's your take on that?
I think so. I think that you don't want to, I think that there's something there when it comes to that, because you just kind of second guess and feel like, man, like if I post this, I only got but a few followers anyway. If I post something out the way, people be like, oh man, I thought this dude was this, and they go ahead and drop you or something like that. So I feel like that's a thing. I also feel like people just want to be cool, and I feel like sometimes people rather be cool than just be themselves, and like being yourself sometimes is like either like sometimes you're super silly, or you may be really into like anime, or you may be really into like, because like I'm not into that stuff, and I have Christian hip hop artists and fans that like that stuff. Like I don't think any different of them. It's like that's I don't know if you ever seen Ray Wood Jr. special. He has it called it's called Finding Your Crab Leg.
Life is basically a crab leg, and we're just all trying to work that and trying to find that one little nugget of feel good inside that. Oh no! Oh, I found a little feel good today. I found just a little bit.
Yes.
Like you just find your crab leg. Like this is what you enjoy doing, and you rock with it. So that's kind of where I'm at, and it's kind of going back to something else you said earlier about like sometimes it's the video that you don't think, the video you think is going to go viral, or the one that you really 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 like, you post it and like nothing happens, but then it's like the random one like Shook ones, like I enjoyed it, but I didn't think people were going to like love it as much as they did. But it's funny, a blend that I like the most that got like 0, it's Maverick City music, and I mixed it with like some house music. Just let it feel good. I hear numbers. I hear the keys. 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 Just let it feel the room. And I posted it, and people was like, no.
What?
Like, yes, but I still like it. I still like it. So I think I want to say I even played it on my radio show just because like I wanted to, like it's because I want to. I like it, and I have a radio show, so I'm playing it. And so I mean, I think it's important to do that. Like if you like it, like you said, don't worry about like how people are going to receive it or whatever. You just post it. You just post it and see what it does, or see what it don't do. So you are a producer. I like asking DJs, producers, rappers this question. All right.
So
in a beat, one's got to go. The sample, as far as the sample, either so like basically you have think about you having like a boom bap track. Boom bap track, one got to go. A horn sample, piano sample, scratching sample, or a vocal sample, and you can never use it again.
Dang. You said a horn sample,
piano, scratching, and a vocal sample.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
You said a boom bap beat, right?
Yeah.
Much, much, much later.
Probably, I know I may get hate for this. If you're talking about boom bap beat, the horns got to go.
Really?
Boom bap. If you're talking about boom bap, and also you have to be like, what type of horn? Because when I would do beats that weren't boom bap, like trap or whatnot, I would use certain horns for those. But with boom bap, I like hearing the vocal sample, whether it's sped up or slow.
Yeah.
And because you said boom bap or
Yeah.
the record scratching, it gives it that hip hop-esque. And then with the piano, it just gives it that emotion, that feel.
So the horn, okay, that makes sense.
So as far as a boom bap beat goes, so
Okay.
I'll say horns got to go.
All right, cool. Now tell me, like, what was your intro to CHH?
Whoo! Hopefully, I'm not trying to be long-winded, George, but this is what it is. So, and I remember at the beginning you talked about the give the life to Jesus Christ moment too. So I'm gonna try to tie a lot of stuff in. So the year of 2002, I ended up dropping out of high school, at my senior year rather, due to me having a lot of classes, and it was overwhelming because I was trying to catch up from me slacking off my freshman and sophomore year. So I had double the classes to try to catch up, to walk. And it was so overwhelming. And then there was a course called Grad Project. And you can have enough credits, but if you didn't pass that class, you would have to come back to finish.
Yeah.
So that was stressful for me. So I'm like, there'll be times where I'm passing all the other classes, but Grad Project I'm struggling in, and I'm like, oh shoot. Then I start focusing on Grad Project, and then the other classes are staggering. Got so overwhelming to where I didn't get to walk, and I ended up dropping out of high school. Around this time, I was heavily into beats, and just kind of like, I had a lot of anger issues, temper problems. I wasn't a troublemaker, but I had anger issues due to, growing up past with, dad situations, and shout out to my pops, you know what I mean? Because we chop now and everything's good. But around that time, a lot of artists would come over because I think around the time 2002, 2003, my name was buzzing where I was at. So I had a lot of artists come over my house, like wanting to get some beats. So there was a particular guy, his name is Dale. And an artist brought him to my house, and me and him just connected. And then the second time I saw Dale, he was like, man, you want to come to church with me? You know what I'm saying? Get your church on. And sidebar, I did not grow up in church. So I was open, but I wasn't raised up in church.
Right.
So I'm 17 at the time. And I remember I took him on his offer. I'm like, sure, I'll go to church with you. And so he brought me over to this church. And it was more so like, and there's no front on it, Pentecostal, different church, you know what I mean? Like
that's how I was raised. I was raised Pentecostal, apostolic.
Yeah, so it was like for me. So imagine somebody that don't know anything about church culture or don't.
That sounds crazy. That'd be crazy.
And I'm walking into this and I'm hearing somebody speaking in tongues. That's scaring me. It sounds like somebody auctioning the door. And I'm like, what's going on? Right. And people like not flinching. I'm like, I'm flinching. I'm like what's going on? What the hell is that? Like I'm in my head, I'm cussing. I'm cussing on my breath. Like I was different back then. And I remember after a month, after attending this church that Dale would bring me to, I low-key and high-key heard the gospel, but in a form of Jesus having a relationship with you.
Yeah.
And I never heard it broken down that way before. I always would hear, don't do this, you sin and you this and that. But as far as like my tidbits of a person that's not church that would see a lot of stereotypical shots at the church through movies about the pastor and the money and all this and that. And I would have glimpses of church things, but I never heard the gospel. And gotcha. I think from that point, I heard it broken down in a way where it was relational to me. About not only did Jesus Christ die for me, he died because of me. And just learning about the like.
That's a big distinction.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where even in my mind, with me not understanding church at the moment, I understood it. It hit. I'm like, okay, he died for me. Like, like, man, like his love is like, man, like he died for somebody knowing that a person may not love him back. Right. Like Jesus died. Like that's like, what kind of story would you hear where where the hero dies for the villain. You know what I'm saying?
Andy Mineo. Yep.
Right. Like, you know.
The Andy Mineo bar.
When you heard a story about the hero dying for the villain.
Right. But that's what I would think. This is what my mind was at the time.
Right.
So I was receptive to it randomly, you know, I'm a low-key dude. When you're in church, I'm like, I don't want no attention on me, on me. People looking at me. When they were like, yeah, if you don't get, whoever doesn't know your Jesus as a personal Lord and Savior, people looking all at me, I'm ducking. And then you had
6'5" though.
Look, you had 3 people coming my way, and the lady made it to the left of me.
We welcome you. We welcome you. When they put their hand on me, I burst into flames. I was like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this.
But she spoke to me with grace and care and concern, not pushy, but invitational. Right. And it spoke to me. And for some odd reason, I'm up there at the altar. And I knew it wasn't me. Because I'm not that type of dude to get up at no altar, like go up on there. I'm there. Yeah. And I knew it was God's hand tugging me to go up there. And with me accepting Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior, like I believed it. I'm like, no, I believe this in my heart. I do. But at the time, it's one of those things, I'm still rough around the edges. And then on top of that, I remember, in this church, it was like, yo, we're going to get baptized today. And I'm like, dang, I didn't have no
immediately, straightway, you going in the water.
Look, in the water, bruh. And that water was warm and it had like a certain scent and a smell. But I'll say the weirdest thing about it was after I got baptized, I remember they had these sweats, like this pants and this shirt, and they had me dressed in, and it fit perfectly because I'm tall. And I was sitting next to a young man on the seat that also got baptized. And I remember sitting there and I didn't say anything, but I thought this. I'm like, man, I feel like it's like the golden child, like drinking that water. And it's like, you feel like clean on the inside. Like, it's like a clean. I didn't say it, but the kid looked at me. He's like, don't you feel different on the inside? Like, don't you feel that thing? You feel something different. And he spoke exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, I can't explain it. I just feel like
that's
clean.
dope, man.
It's like drinking some water, and it's like on the inside, you're like clean, like clean.
Right.
So I couldn't put it into words, but I knew from then on, I knew that was the beginning of the journey. And I think in that, as I kept coming back to church, my dude Dale, what he did was every time I would ride with him, he would like play music low key in the background. And I'm like, and at this time, I'm gonna be real with you, man. I was not into Christian rap. I was not into anything. People tried to get me back in the day. Hey, man, listen to T-Bone. I'm like, no, I need that Bone Thugs and Harmony East 1999 Eternal. I need that. I need that. I'm the type of dude, and I know this may not good. I'm not trying to have anybody stumble. in the words of Bernie Mac, trouble.
Right.
Usually when I listen to the real thing, I go for the real thing. I don't go for the knock.
The great value version.
Listen, if I'm going to listen to Griselda, I'm sorry, listeners. I'm going to listen to them. I'm sorry. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to the sound. Right. But back to the lecture at hand, Dale was playing some music on the low. And I'm like, bro, because he was like to a place where he wasn't listening to, I don't like using this word, but I said secular music. Mm-hmm. And I'm listening to something. I'm like, bro, you listen to the Jay-Z? He's like, no, this is the truth.
I was say, let me guess. I was going to guess the truth.
Yeah, he was like, no, this is the truth. I'm like, no, who is this? He's like, no, this is the truth. I'm like, bro, who is? I kept asking. I thought he kept saying this is the truth. No, he was talking about the artist. So we going back and forth. I'm like, bro, stop playing with me. Who is this? He's like, bro, this is the truth.
That's his name. His name is the truth.
I didn't know, bro.
Right,
so we going back and forth. And then later on, I'm like, no, turn that up. He goes, no, his name is the truth. I'm like, oh, I thought you meant like, yo, this is the truth.
Right.
Because low key, we used to say that all the time with music we would hear, and we'd be like, yo, that's the truth.
Yeah, right.
I didn't catch it, but he said, no, the artist name is the truth. And he turned up at the first song that caught me was the story song. The I Ain't Got No Horror Story.
Yeah, that's on the Moment of Truth.
Yeah, it's like that. So when he played that with R. Swift at the beginning of that skit, and then that came into that song, I related to that 75% because I'm not no gangster. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not none of that. I mean, I've been in tough situations. That's part two. But I would say, I've never been to jail. I haven't did this. I haven't, never smoked. I haven't drank. And it was stuff he was saying on that record that resonated with me, the things that did. And I was like, this dude is nice. Like this dude got like an esque. And I'm like, this dude can rap. Like he got bars. And to me, I'm like, yo, he don't sound corny. Right. So that was really my introduction on the music side of me, like outside of me. That's what got me into Christian hip hop as far as a listener. On the listener side, was like, yo, the truth. And then Dale hit me, I think, with Flame's first album. And then it was Lecrae's Real Talk. So those 3 albums.
Okay, nice. That's a pretty good intro.
Yeah, what got me in, because I'm like, yo, these dudes, they rapping, they doing what they do. But I think on the artist side, though, as far as like me being an artist, that's an interesting thing because even with me being saved and me rapping, I was still cussing, still rapping when I was rapping. But it was one of those things, the more I grew in Christ, the more like, he was changing my taste buds and it trickled down through my content. Right. And it was one of those things like when I got more into the word got more into me. And so in that, it trickled down in my music. It wasn't planned. It was a God thing to where I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm talking about things of God now. Right. Because, his desires are becoming my desires. And as I'm growing in him, it was coming out into my music. Nice. So as I'm growing, that's what my content was talking about. It wasn't forced. It just happened because I'm going after the things of God. And then those things started pouring out within my music. And so I never actually planned to be like, oh, I'm going to be a Christian rapper. I was just rapping. Yeah. And at the time when I got saved, I started rapping about my life and real stuff, but I was talking bitter stuff then about backstabbers and haters, and that's all the content I had. But as I grew more in Christ, it started expanding. And then I started talking about the things of God in my music, because that's what I was into as I'm growing in my relationship with Christ. So then when you talk about CHH from an artist perspective, being an artist, I just started rapping about my love for God in the best way I knew how. But see, let me tell you something. At that time, it was a different temperature. At that time, when I was rapping for God organically, when it just happened to be that way, that was the time when rappers wouldn't do records with you because you wasn't the same denomination as them.
Absolutely, yeah.
I come up, so that's the era I come in as far as the artist side, me being an artist.
Yeah.
And I remember one time distinctively, I had a great friend of mine that was like a writer. And like he was riding for me, like he was like, you know those friends that got your back behind your back. And he will always tell people about me. And I'm like, oh, I think I'm all right. He's like, no, man, you're dope. You're nice. So he tried to, and I'm not going to name names, but he basically reached out to a Christian rapper and was like, yo, you got to get with my dude Lank, man. He just be spitting that heat, for the Lord. And he ended up having me meet this artist. And I was there just because my friend wanted me to meet this guy. And this guy blatantly told me like, hey, I heard, your guy was telling me about you. Yeah, and I heard a little bunch of stuff and listening to it, I don't think we're going to do any records together because I don't think it's Jesus-y enough. I don't hear where's Jesus at in it. Yeah. And I'm like, first of all, I'm like, I didn't come here to get on the record with you. I'm here because my guy wanted me to meet you. But this dude had like this ego complex, like I'm the stuff, and
that's an issue that I have within Christian hip hop at times. Like I think there's enough lanes for a lot of different variety. So I'll say that. Then you have like just the book chapter verse rappers who feel like if you're not rapping book chapter verse, then like you're not doing it right.
Man.
I don't necessarily. Well, I'll say this: I go to theologians for theology. I go to preachers for preaching.
Yeah.
I go to teachers for teaching. I don't necessarily go to Christian rap for any of those things, even though all those things have a place.
Absolutely.
I'm not sitting there like, I heard a Christian song and I didn't get any of those things. So how Christian is it? I'm like, it could just be practically what it's like to walk out as a believer, or it could just be a fun track. It can have nothing to do with God. Because like you said about that word secular, I don't like that word either, because it's like, that's a whole nother rabbit trail. I don't want to
look, and that's a whole other thing. And I'm sorry to cut you off. The reason why is because I'll put it to you like this, and I'm gonna talk about an elephant in the room real fast.
Okay.
So fast forward, I'm not gonna talk about back, but where I'm at now, I'm in a unique lane. I actually carved my own lane, but I'm in a unique space, and in that unique space, the people I talk with, they raw and uncut. These are the people that really need, they really they need the Lord, like they really hungry. And when you hang out with cats, I perform, within church, but then also in the bars and the restaurants, like stuff like that. Like that's my lane. And my lane is more so, and it's not to sound cool, because it's not about being cool. My lane is more so on the outside, where it's like, yo, let me meet you up the street. And let's talk. Let's have conversation, regardless of your situation. My goal is to love on you, and then my goal is not to fix you. My goal is to understand you. My goal is not really to preach at you, but to walk with you. Like, what's up?
And I think that's really needed. I think that so many times we're looking to obviously, because of our faith, we believe we have the answer, but we shouldn't be. We're so quick to want to give the answer and tell them, and take out our red ink pens and mark up their sheet, but just like understand why they wrote that answer, understand why they had that point of view. Yes. Before you take out the red marker, you start marking everything that's wrong. So I'm with you. I'm with you there, and I'm with like kind of going back to like the beginning of our conversation, just about finding your lane, because you have a role. Some people's role is to be in the church and to edify the believers that are in there.
Absolutely.
And some people's role is not to do that. And I don't feel like it's right for either side to look at the other and say that you're doing it wrong. And it kind of goes into like you had a post 2 days ago, because obviously it's Spotify rap season. And I'm just a music listener. I don't have I'm not a Spotify for artists. I'm just a DJ. So I love this type of year, this time of year, because I'm actually gonna make a video here soon where I'm just gonna sit down, and I've been doing it for 4 years. This is my 5th year, where I just take my Spotify rap and I look at it live for the first time behind the camera or in front of a camera, or however that works. But you being an artist, you made a video talking about like not falling into that comparison trap, not falling into that. And you made a comment in there, also kind of like a callback to our earlier conversation, that comparison could be a thief of joy. Comparison could be a thief of joy, but you also said, which I never heard before, comparison could be a thief of creativity.
So all of my artists out there that may be discouraged because you keep comparing yourself with other artists, like how come I don't have those many followers, or how come I don't have those many streams? Well, first off, one thing you may not realize, those people you're comparing yourselves to, they have machines behind them while you don't have a machine. You're comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 78, and look, don't measure your importance, your worth, your value by how many streams or followers you have. Know that you matter. And don't compare yourself to others, because each and every single one of us have our own unique race that God specifically have us to run. Plus, comparison is the thief of joy, and also comparison is the thief of creativity. And at the end of the day, it's not about who's impressed. It's about who's impacted. So get out there and keep growing, keep doing what you're doing. It's an accomplishment to even put your stuff out. Keep doing your thing, man. Don't stop, and do not give up. Keep creating.
I thought that was a really good short 1-minute message. Thought you nailed it. Also talked about being our goal being to impact people and not to impress people. I thought that was spot on too. So so shout out to you for that. And then you dropped a free verse.
To my artists that be playing the comparing game, to the point you feel discouraged to be sharing things. You feeling down and out cause you don't have a lot of streams. Compare yourself to artists that have multiple machines that's backing them up, but you don't have machines behind you. Don't let how many followers an artist have blind you from the simple fact. Honestly, fam, I'm convinced by you put the music out, that's a huge accomplishment. Run your race and finish well, don't fall for trickery. Comparison is the thief of joy and creativity. Know that you matter, no matter what, keep creating. Looking at everyone else will make it devastating. I'm stating, don't give up on what you do, be encouraged. Continue to keep it going and going, let it flourish. Comparing false measures will just have you be distracted. It's not about who's impressed, it's about who's impacted.
That was dope too. So just want to give you your flowers for just that message in this season. So the question is, have you checked your Spotify Wrapped?
I have not. I'm gonna be real, y'all. Hey, shout out to my people that's even listening to this. I don't expect people to listen to little old me, but but listen to big old God. You know what I'm saying? But as far
you got
as
deep on them, got spiritual.
Oh yeah, spiritual. That's what we call it, spiritual, right?
Yeah.
No, I have not, and it's weird because I'm bad at that. I'm very bad, and it's nothing deep. It's just I just do my thing, and I just keep it moving. I think for me, the last time I checked my Spotify Wrapped, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was just because one of my homies, like, hey man, they got on me about it randomly, but it wasn't on some comparing. They were just like, yo, have you checked it?
Yeah.
And I think it was 3 years ago, it was decent. It was like, oh, shoot, I got some plays. But I still wanted to put that out with that same message I had today, where I'm like, yo, this is cool. This is great. But this is not my worth. This is not my value. This is not the end all to be all. Like, never think, oh, man, I'm a failure. I'm this and that because I don't have many streams. Or I don't have this. It's like, man, continue to keep doing your thing. Like, continue to grow at it. Me, I'm horrible at checking Spotify. Out of all the layers with my music, I'm horrible at it, just in general, just to be transparent. I don't really check too much. I know I should at certain things, not to be on the comparative, but I just get so caught up in working on so much stuff. And I'm like, look, I thought automatically, I'm like, I know my joint is bad because I haven't even like worked on trying to push up my followers or listeners on Spotify. So I have not even checked it. But what I want to say to that is, it's nothing wrong with celebrating, like, oh shoot, I came here.
And that's what
there's nothing wrong with that, because I think sometimes it's two sides to it. But I'm just gonna say, like, bro, like, I celebrate. I'm like, yo, that's dope. Like, when cats are doing their thing and, hey, you have a personal goal in mind and you're trying to hit that or you're reaching towards that, I'm for it, man. I'm not jealous of nobody. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, kill it. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't be competing against nobody, especially if we claim to be on the same team. So I think for me, I'm just like, bro, it's a win. To me, it's even though it's somebody else, I'm like, that's a win for me. That's a win to hear that. I'm like, bro, that's so dope, because you never know what it took for them to get to where they needed to be. And on the flip side, like I said on the record, the thing is, for my people that's on chapter 1 or chapter 5, stop comparing yourself to somebody's chapter 83. Because at the end of the day, some of these people you compare yourself with, they have machines behind them, and you don't have a machine. So it's like you're comparing your blooper reel with somebody's highlight reel. Like, you don't know what goes behind that. And my thing is, it's like, people just need to focus on God and running the race that He designed for us. Like, that's what it should be, and run it well. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, if you're focused on other people's calling, you're going to end up in the wrong line. So what are you doing? You know what I mean? Keep doing your thing.
And I really do feel like the majority, I feel like a couple years ago, I felt like around this time of year, it felt different. It felt like there was more like people felt more angst about it. It felt like people were maybe comparing themselves, but this year it felt different. It felt a lot more celebratory, and that was dope. That was dope. And I've been following, like I said, I've just got on. I got off of social media in 2012 and didn't get back on to 2019. Woo! No, 19? Yeah, the end of 2019. So I was off for a while. And like right when I got on, it was. I'll just say this. I started following a lot of indie artists, and to see where they started out and to see where they're at now, like it's been like a blessing to me just to like watch that. Just to kind of see how they just like their blow up and them being genuinely excited for what they have. So that's been super dope. I'm enjoying this Christian hip hop community. In a lot of ways, like I said earlier, I didn't really see myself as a creative in any sense, but I do now. I'm happy that I do now because I feel like I have like a community that I can look to. I learn from. I'm a big fan of like the Track Stars and the Rustlans, the DJ Wados.
DJ Wado.
Yeah, man, Wado, man, that's around that time, like in the 2000s. Like I remember rushing to iTunes to download his podcast.
Thank you.
So
I didn't even have iTunes, and I did the same thing.
Yep. I mean, he had on his website. So it's like it's amazing to see now that like I got a shot with Holy Culture Radio. I don't know, still don't understand how it happened. Maybe I'll probably make a video at some point to talk about that.
You hit on something. So to tie in something to add to what you're saying. When I first started getting into CHH artists, I used to listen to Holy Culture like podcasts, like Holy Culture deals, but they played a lot of artists that weren't as popular.
Yeah.
Like I started because I'm sorry guys, I gotta confess my sins. But I had an MP3 ripper, and when it would play, I clicked the record.
Yeah.
And that's how I found out about. Shout out to my dude K Drama. You know what I mean? Shout out to him.
Want to hear a funny story?
What's that?
Grew up with K Drama. He went to one of my rival high schools there in Cincinnati.
What?
I remember him passing out cassette tapes when he was like 16. Yeah, so like I came up with K Drama just like as a fan. Like I remember going to like the different Christian hip hop spots in Cincinnati, like the Gospel Grill. There was a spot on Hamilton Avenue. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, like, and then there was a whole Christian hip hop community there in Cincinnati. That I was like, my brother was a part of a Christian rap record label there in Cincinnati. So like I was very much like around the Christian hip hop scene. But yeah, K Drama, man, honestly, he is the nicest Christian hip hop. No, he's just one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life.
Period. And look,
he's just a genuine dude. So I'm so blessed to think that like I met this dude when I was like 17 and he was like 16, something like that. Like, man, like a long time ago. And like fast forward like 20 something years later, and I'm still following him on Twitter. And like dudes, like just last week flying to California for like still getting booked for shows and like on video games and commercials and all this stuff he did with Rest in Peace to the Green Ranger. Like he's done all this crazy stuff. And it's like, dude, like I remember literally when he was selling cassette tapes. So like, it's wild, man.
But see, even in that, you know, the thing about, I want to give a huge shout out to K Drama, man. And look, I remember when I think it was the Glory album, or the one with Let It Bang on it.
Let it bang! Let it bang!
Yeah.
And Teeter Totters.
Yeah, Teeter Totters.
Teeter Totter.
They go back and forth. They go back and forth. They go up and down. They go up and down. They go up and down. They go up and down like Teeter Totters. Teeter Totters. Teeter Totters. Teeter Totters. Teeter Totters.
And I remember I heard it on Holy Culture. And then it was the Holy Hip Hop thing label was like EMI or something. And I was like, that was one of the CDs I bought, you know, like one of the earlier ones.
Hey,
And
that's
it's crazy, even on my side, it's crazy because I grew up on what got me about K-drama was its production. It was knocking. And so for me at the time, a lot of the Christian hip hop stuff I heard didn't really knock that hard.
Yeah,
like
he
production.
did.
Like it was cool, but in the content, I get it, you know, well, you know, we talk about Jesus. I'm like, it had to be more than that to me. It had to knock. It had to hit. K-drama had that knock. And I remember, and he had a unique flow. He had a unique way of displaying things. And that's what caught me on to him. I'm like, yo, I love K-drama. But the crazy part about that is, we fast forward, man, I ended up being on a song with K-drama. I'm like, what is going on? On the remix of That's a Lie. With him and Say Loud Corner. And I'm like, what? And, and I'm gonna say this. I have to give props to Eric Boston from 520 Collective, because at the end of the day, I remember you know how K-drama sometimes, or a lot of times, he would release singles and release the instrumentals. So that beat, when I heard that beat, I'm like, this beat is nuts. Because it was the other side of the Blessing beat, and then it was the That's a Lie, and I was gonna rap the Either Or. And I ended up writing to the That's a Lie, and I did a video just expressing my verse, just getting some bars off. And then randomly, I saw K-drama shared it on his story on Instagram. I'm like, what's going on? Because I didn't expect that. And then Eric Boston was like kept tagging K-drama, and then he was like, yo, man, you gotta put him on the remix. And then K-drama turned it to real. He was a man of his word. He's like, oh yeah, you want to be on the remix? And I'm like, what? I grew up on you, dude. I'm listening to your stuff, man. I'm listening to Bloom Baptism. I'm listening to the Siege Fire, you know, where you flip. I was into the underground cuts, you know what I'm saying? The joint he had for the community where it was like 4 tracks, it was like an EP, and then his Christmas joint.
Dude. I might have that stuff, like the actual like out the trunk versions.
What?
Yeah, man. Like,
yo,
I still remember all those cats. He had a dude on the called, his name was Correct. He had I'm trying to think of like who those Joshua James. There's a bunch of, it's like some like just regular dudes there in Cincinnati that was on that track. So that's wild to think that like how things just kind of come full circle. How things come but that's how God works. So that's what's up, man. That's good that's dope to hear.
I'm still tripping about it. And sometimes, like a lot of times, I love seeing people winning, you know, and I think even like we're seeing K-drama, like you were saying, with everything he's doing, I'm like giving them props, like, bro, that's so dope, because I know what it's like as an artist, whereas the behind the scenes, it could be discouraging, especially at the age limit, because you're like, yo, is it up for me? Is the time up? Or I feel like people may not be checking for me like they used to, or are they checking for me like that? And those questions come in your mind as you get older with age, depending on who you are. And then just to see him still flourishing and still him doing his thing, it's so dope to see, and it's an encouragement to me. Because I'm like, bro, that's dope. And I think in that, man, like me and him be joking, like, you know, through like, you know, Twitter too, you know, and I mean, like you said, the vibe I got for him was solid. You know what I mean? Solid, great dude. Similarities too, because I'm like, wait, there's certain similarities. I'm like, that's trippy. But it's like, that's the thing about the Christian hip hop community. You know, none of us are perfect. You know, I'm flawed, but I'm called, right? It is interesting when, you know, people you listen to and then you meet them. And you're like, whoa, like, bro, I was listening to your CD, or it's a trip. But like you said, how God orchestrate things and how it's full circle. I never expected to be on no remix, man. That wasn't my goal. I just expressed some bars and I kept it moving. And then once again, my phone kept going off and I'm like, what's going on? And then I saw that he shared it on his story. And then he said something like, should I have him on the remix? And I'm like, what? Like me?
Like I'm a little partial, but yes, you should have him on the remix.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, you are partial, aren't you? Because it was you, Eric Boston, my dude. Shout out to my big brother DJ MD,
Okay.
It was y'all three, I think, that I remember off the top. If I forget any names, please forgive me. But yes, you were partial. Let's call that out. You're right. You were partial to that. There was a lot, and you guys were like, yo, we don't want a remix. And I'm like, is this for real? Like me? Because me, I always feel like I could do better, and I always feel like I can grow more in my craft.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm all right. You know what I mean? And I low key want other people. I want people, like, if I have a song with my guys on it, like, yo, that's cool. I'm doing my thing, but I want people to hear what my guys are bringing. Like, I want people to hear what they're doing. You know, I don't want to make it all about me and my stuff, my this, my that. I want to give people the platform, even with jumping on the track with an artist. And everybody's different on it. It's not about a right or wrong. This is my own opinion, my own way. I don't even jump on it as a competitor. I jump on it as a team player. Like, what can I bring to the table? Right. You know, I'm not trying to subliminally wax you out. You know, I'm more like, I always usually just compete against who I was yesterday. Right. And I just want it to be where it's like, yo, what am I bringing to the table? I'm not trying to make it about myself. Like, I want other people to shine. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yo, that's cool. You checking me out. That's cool. But check out my dudes, though. They killing it. Like, yo, they doing some dope things.
And the cool thing is that like that type of stuff comes back around. Like, you never know who's listening. You never know who's like while you're not even around, while you're not even in the room, somebody's bringing your name up in the room. So like it comes back around, man. It absolutely does. Absolutely does. It's
a trip. But what about, so when you were mentioning earlier about Cincinnati, and you said your brother was in the group?
Yeah. My brother, my brother, he went by the name of, at the time, V Nice. He was a part of Forever in Christ Music. They collabed with K Drama quite a bit. It was ran by a guy named, his name was Lazarus. Another fun fact, my god brother is D-Mob, so I'm pretty sure you know.
Shout out to D-Mob.
Yeah, so that's the homie. I think I had on my hoodie earlier today, my Good Company hoodie. I don't got it on today. I have it on now. But yeah, so that's
dope.
Yeah, D-Mob is a monster. I think about him a lot, just because he taught me how to play dominoes. I remember being at the studio and they was playing dominoes, and he had his dominoes, holding them in his hands like this, and like I remember playing them, and I had my dominoes stacked up on the table, and like he just teaching me like, you don't do that. So he would like bump the table and like knock over all my dominoes and see how I was gonna play. He was like, you got to pick up your dominoes and hold them so people can't knock over the table. So D-Mob, and I play dominoes with my kids all the time now. So, but yeah, D-Mob, that's the homie. So yeah, so it was a really, really nice Christian hip hop community, and then we were just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Columbus, so it was a whole crew up there as well. So
your dude Swoop, it also Swoop. When I first heard Swoop, I think it was the Suitcase record on the Big Picture.
I'm living out of my suitcase, so Swoop's faith. I live it out and I carry on. I'm living out of a carry-on. To settle down would be very wrong when I'm in this town as an alien.
Yeah.
When I heard him on that, I'm like, who is this? And
that's the Ohio.
I'm speaking on this because I'm thinking about Ohio. So you got Swoop, and I love Swoop. You know, I'm talking about the Zoo, talking about
my favorite
tapes. Like, I love Swoop. The Wake Up, that's my joint.
Yeah.
Even his new joint, you know,
24.
Yeah, 24. I love it. The Flowers record. And then you already know, shout out to Taylor Gray.
Taylor Gray,
shout out
man.
to Armand Wake Up.
Yep.
All those dudes. Cambino.
Cambino, the Street Pastor, Yavis.
Yeah, Street Pastor. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the Yavis. Yes. Yeah, also, all those dudes. Like, if people were to ask, like, yo, what's my feel and what
Ohio
my tone of music that I love is those dudes. Like, and it's not nobody else, but when I hear Taylor Gray and when I hear Armand and when Armand Wake Up and I hear a lot of those brothers within there, like everybody on there, like everybody. So it's like when they have those ciphers, I love their vibe, and that's the thing, because they have their own type of sound, their own lane. And that's me in my sense, in my own way, where I'm like, I want to create that in the area I'm in, the cats I rock with that are believers. you know, that got bars, you know, just to create our own lane and just something that's different. But yeah, that's the one thing I thought about. Isn't Swoop your guy?
Yeah, man. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. Well, he's my favorite rapper. My GOAT is Sho Baraka. I love Sho.
Yes.
Yeah, so Sho's my GOAT. Swoop is my favorite rapper. And I have a whole starting lineup of like how I rank my teams and
Yes.
or rank my favorite rappers and stuff like that. But
Yes.
but yeah, we gonna have to do this again because we can riff and do this mug forever, man. Because I got I know I want to. This is making me want to tell my whole story about like how I got with Holy Culture Radio. Because that's just like a huge blessing.
Please.
It makes me want to talk more about like those early days in Cincinnati, just being like a kid sitting outside of FIC Forever in Christ Music Studios, and them in there rapping and seeing D-Mob and K-Drama and stuff in there. It just reminds me of those early days. So I need to maybe talk more because I do album reviews mostly on the channel, but I want to start doing more stuff like this. So I appreciate you stopping through. And I don't know I'm gonna name this video. It's probably gonna be Lank and B Plus Shoot the Breeze, and just list out all the different stuff that we've been talking about.
Shoot the breeze. Yeah. And look, please tell your story, bro, because in the words of D-Mob, you're so professional.
Work it like a pro, I'm so professional. I'm so professional. Yeah, I'm so professional. I'm so professional.
Yes. Yes.
You know, like
that was a joint, man.
Bro, like that's what I come into my mind. Like, bro, what you do, just to end it on this note, man, like continue to be you and who you are, because you're a huge blessing to me. And that's not just saying it just to say it because we're doing this video. This is on and offline. You're a blessing to me. Your sense of humor. Even that tweet, I gotta say this. I know this may cause something, but I don't care. They gonna have to eat this. Cat's gonna have to eat this. So remember you made that comment and I related to it where it's like when you post something and you're like, yo, because there's certain things as believers that you could post and I could post, whether you talk about the N-word or certain things, because it won't be like a whole outrage because it's not like we're super like that. So it's like there's gateways we could get. I could post this, Cass won't really trip.
Right.
If it was somebody that had more followers or whatnot, you're gonna have, you know what? I gotta borrow my dude's word for this, man. The problem sometimes, and it's not with everybody, as Christian hip hop artists, whether you're a Christian rapper that's Christian, you know, I'm either or, it don't matter. You know, more so the rapper that's a Christian, but if you call me a Christian rapper, I'm not mad at it.
Right.
I'm gonna say this, man. Like my dude Jay Adams said a minute ago, aka Jarrell Johnson, right? A lot of times, sometimes some of the fans treat these artists like the fans are the parents. So it's like some fans treat certain artists like, you know, like they're their parents. And so sometimes it's like when people express something a certain way, people get policed or people get the word that people water down and use for their own, like canceled, right? And my thing is, bro, I say all that to say continue to be authentically who you already are, like you're doing, and continue to express what you're expressing, because at the end of the day, your tone, your voice is needed. Because it impacts somebody like me. And I love your personality. I love your sense of humor. I love how you express when you talk about different Christian hip hop albums and why you like them. Yeah. And I'm gonna say, like, bro, people need to hear your story, bro, because it's a victory story. Because there's people out there, man, that you know, you're an answer to people's prayer. Like there's people out there you may not see and that you may not know about that you don't even haven't came in contact with yet, that's watching you. And you doing what you're doing, you're impacting people from afar and you don't even know it. And you're gonna see. But just know, man, continue to do what you're doing, continue to tell your story. It, man. And even with us not saying stuff all perfect and everything, bump it. Shoot, this is who we are. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not always gonna say the right things. I'm not always gonna, you know, I'm a stutter and I'm gonna do that. But that's just a part of who God has us to be. Right. And it is what it is, man. I love the quirks and all, but that's what makes you stand out. But bro, continue to encourage others as you're doing too, because one thing that you did that was very dope to me is how you had that month chart where you were like praying for different artists or influencers.
It's coming back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you
Top
know what?
of the year.
Pastors, artists, people, whoever, people need that, man. And you that, you don't know how deep that may have triggered somebody, because there's somebody out of that list, and I ain't gonna, I'm just gonna put that out there. You never know. Somebody probably had thoughts of suicide. And you saying something, and people would never know it because, you got to smile and everything's great. But by you having that, you don't even know, like, how that, like, the object of our faith, the object of the prayer, it's mainly all due to Jesus. But just having that prayer up for people are thankful for them to even be a thought. And so continue to be who you are, because it's deeper than CHH. I'm talking about the body of Christ.
Yeah, it's about the kingdom.
That's my focus, the body of Christ. When the music is off, the fellowship is still on. So my thing is, bro, continue being who you are.
I will.
Deeper than that, I love you and I appreciate you. Continue to keep being who you are. Man. And tell your story, bro, because you know what? I want it in the word. I want to hear it. I want to hear your story.
I got you. I got you. It'll probably be soon. It'll be soon. If January goes by and I ain't told my story yet, come knock on my Twitter door.
Oh, heck yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be overzealous. I'm gonna be self-righteous. I'm gonna be, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna overlook the times I keep saying stuff is coming soon, and it's been 2 years. So with that being said, I'm gonna be at your door and be like, hey, B+. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where's the story at? So yeah, I'm gonna get on your behind about that.
Okay. Sounds good, man. So with that being said, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, peace in, confusion out, and be positive.